So when we do this, the reason I asked about that thing about the harmonization is when we do this harmonization,
Yeah.
or He's a Jolly Good Fellow, you said you wanted a couple of those
Substitutions. Yeah.
well, you wanted to substitute into F, but you also said you wanted some deceptive cadence in there.
Well, not necessarily, but you could. What page are you on, Edison?
Well, the page is 237,
All right.
or He's a Jolly Good Fellow.
Okay.
So I thought you had mentioned that you wanted deceptive cadence, but I didn't just exactly see any place or any concept of why or where I would put deceptive cadence in there.
Okay. So let's do this one together. This was my plan today anyway, so we are right on track. So for He's a Jolly Good Fellow, we're in the key of what?
E flat.
E flat major. So I'm going to draw E flat right here. All right, we're in E flat major. So let's go ahead and analyze this as if we were just going to do it using ones, fours, and fives. Tonic, subdominant, and dominant. So we know what do we know right off the bat?
Well, we know E flat, A flat, and B flat.
Good. What else do we know?
It's actually the first measure there is not actually starting on the tonic, but it still looks like it's going to be a tonic chord.
You're right. Let's review really quick. The one chord we play when we have scale degree number 1,
1, 3,
3,
5.
1, 3, and 5. And that G is a 3, correct?
A 3. That's right. It's a 3.
And the tonic chord is the only chord that has a 3 in it. And more likely than not, we are going to start our harmonizations with a tonic chord. So that was what I was getting after. We know that we're going to start with a tonic. We know that we're going to
end with a tonic, but when I got to the end, it oh, I see, it had a 1, so I guess that's okay.
And then the second to last chord is almost
what it didn't have a 1. Oh yeah, it did. It had a 1. Okay, that's right.
And the second to last chord is almost always
a dominant.
A dominant. That's right. So we play the 4 chord when we have scale degrees. Bueller.
I'm sorry, I was distracted for a moment. What was the question?
When do we play the 4 chord?
When we have 4, 6, or 2 scale degrees.
1, 4, or 6.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I said 2.
You gave me the 2. You gave me the sub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be for the 5.
No, that'd be for the 2.
Oh, yeah.
And we play the 5 chord when we have
5, 7, 2, and 4.
5, 7, 2, and 4. You got it. So, based off of that, let's go ahead and put in our chords. So we got our first tonic in. Now we're over here. We've got an A flat. So one thing I like to do is I like to write out my musical alphabet twice. So there's my musical alphabet twice, and then I like to I like to write that did not work. I like to write out my numbers. So I know my 1, my 2, my 3, my 4, my 5, my 6, my 7. All right, so when I have an A flat, I did it for the wrong key. My apologies. Let me start over. E flat is my 1, F is my 2, G is my 3, A flat is my 4, B flat is my 5, C is my 6, D is my 7. I've got an A flat. A flat is 4 according to my chart here. So when I have a 4, I'm either going to play the 4 or the 5. What do we want to put here?
I put a 4, but is there some reason why you decide one or the other?
Well, I'm going to put the 4 there. We go right back to the 3. I think it sounds better. We could listen to it. In all honesty, it doesn't matter. You can get away with either. But another thing to consider, Edison, is what's coming down the pipe. How many 4s versus 5s are we going to have in the future? And
that's what I saw. It's just like the next one's going to be tonic, and then a 5. So I thought just to spruce it up a little bit.
exactly. So this one's going to be a 5 because it's scale degree 2, and the only chord that has scale degree 2 in it is our dominant.
You know, I just noticed something that I didn't notice, and it says this is a broken chord accompaniment.
You can do that. You don't have to do that, but you could do that if you'd like. I don't require it. But that's what the book encourages us to do. You're right.
Okay, so since it's 3/4, then the chord will just take a quarter note each time for
Correct.
each part of the chord.
One note per beat. You're right.
Right.
I will say this, though, in talking to the former students of mine that have gone over to Fresno State is big on the broken chord accompaniment. Are any of you planning on transferring to Fresno State? Yes, for Christian. Jesus, are you?
Yeah.
So you're probably going to want to start getting some practice with the broken chord accompaniment for your piano proficiency exams.
that waltz that you gave us for a piece, that has the broken chord accompaniment.
Right. Yeah, they don't like block chords over there at State, from what I hear. So just a heads up on that.
This also goes for things like Alberti bass accompaniment too, right?
Sure, you could do an Alberti bass.
No, I mean, like Fresno State likes things like that.
Yeah, you just have to adapt it for the 3/4 time signature.
Mm.
That's what that. If you look ahead at the bottom of our page here, that's what they want you to do on the next one.
Oh, right. Huh.
Okay, we're in measure 7. I've got scale degree 3 again. The only scale degree 3 chord would be the tonic. True?
Right.
Okay, I'm to measure 11, which looks remarkably similar. Well, it's scale degree 4 again.
Well, that's 4 again.
Yep, good. All right, measure 13. I've got 3 scale degree 5s in a row.
Well, it's going to be We can make that a tonic. I mean, a dominant.
We could do either. We could do a tonic or a dominant. You
Yeah.
can choose.
So I did 2 dominants in a row.
Totally fine. Okay. So here's what it sounds like. Or with the 2 dominants in a row. Totally fine.
Actually, you played that with the chord without the broken chord.
I did.
That actually sounded good.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Broken chord.
Okay, so now what we're trying to do is we're trying to get in the 2 substitutions. And we know that the 6 substitutes for the 1, the 2 substitutes for the 4, and the 3 substitutes for the 5. So where do we want to do that? Did we do this last time?
We didn't do that. No.
We didn't do the subs?
We talked about it.
You said, yeah, see, that's where, because you just left it. Oh, you want us to, you talked about what the deceptive cadence was.
Okay.
Oh, put some deceptive cadence in this, and that's where we left it.
So a good place to put the deceptive cadence is right here. It's at the end of the phrase. And it kind of catches everybody by surprise. Musically, I think it would sound better if we put more chords in here, but that's kind of how Alfred gave it to us, so we can't really do anything about that unless we want to just go rogue and add chords ourselves. But it fakes everybody out. Okay, that's where I see the substitution working the best and sounding the most musically. Does that make sense? Alex, how'd it go? Did it work?
It did not.
Okay, I will call Evie. I'll call Evie. We'll get you in.
Okay.
I'll throw down if I have to.
And have Ben as backup. I heard he throws a right hook.
All right. So we're talking about substitutions and harmonization. So we just substituted a 6 chord, but I'm sure you're going to rewatch the replay coming soon to the YouTube channel. All right. Now, I thought we talked a little bit last time about the predominant, did we not?
Predominant?
Yeah, what's a predominant? What chord is the predominant?
Predominant?
P-R-E, predominant.
Okay, that one I haven't heard about.
Does anybody know which chord is called the predominant?
Got a subdominant.
The minor 2, right?
The 2 is the predominant. And if you're a jazzer, you get to learn your 2-5-1 chord progressions in all keys.
Has another name of being a predominant. So we got
So if you take a jazz piano class, you got to know your 2-5-1s chord progressions. That's a predominant going to the dominant going to a 1.
Okay, so its name is supertonic, but sometimes called predominant.
Correct. So to me, the ultimate place to put the 2 chord is where?
A 2 chord. Well, 2 replaces a 2 replaces a 4.
Yeah, that's true. There's a couple places you could put it nicely in this piece.
Well, if you put it in measure, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. In measure 9, then it'd be right in front of a dominant. Would that make sense?
I think that my measure 9 and your measure 9 are different.
Wait a minute. 1, 2.
My measure 9's right here. We don't have a
Oh,
dash.
you know why? Because I thought there were 4 measures, but it's confusing.
Okay, where do you want to put it?
How many measures are up there?
Well, here's measure 6. Here's measure 11.
Wait a minute. Where's measure 6?
Right here.
Here. Oh, I see. You got numbers there.
Yeah.
6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right. So that partial measure is not counted.
Correct. That's the anacrusis is not a complete measure, so it does not get a number. I like to put the 2 chord right here.
Right. Did you mark it? 2 chord.
You could also put your 2 chord
there.
here.
Okay. Go down there.
You could also put your 2 chord here. Let me just play.
You said a 2 chord replaces a 4.
Yeah, you're right. It does.
But we had put a 5 in there.
Right. But because it functions so much like a predominant, and because the way the chord tones work, I'll show you. We're in E flat. Our 2 chord is an F, A flat, C. Now, they have this thing in jazz theory called extended chords, extended harmonies. An E flat becomes our 7, our G becomes our 9, and our B flat becomes our 11. So it makes a nice 11th chord. And that's why I can get away with it, even though originally I told you that it's supposed to substitute for the 5. You're absolutely right, Edison.
Well, you said it's called a predominant, so
Correct.
that's probably why it fits, because you got the dominant following.
That's another reason it fits, absolutely. So let me play the first 3 chords and tell me what you think about substituting it for dash number 2. It works. All right, now I'm going to do it where I substitute the 2 for 11, for measure 11, but not for 13. It works there as well, doesn't it? Now I'm going to do it where I substitute it for measure 13, but not 11. So you could get away with any of them. They work all beautifully, don't they? It's just a matter of personal preference. But what I do want you to do is I want you to get 2 different substitutions amongst the 6, the 2, and the 3 chord. There's really not a good opportunity to put the 3 chord in this example. It doesn't really sound great where we could put it in measure 5. And we don't want to mess with 5 going to 1 at the end because that's such a strong cadential pull. So there's really no opportunity to get the 5 chord in this time. So I would do one of those 3 2s that we talked about, and I would put the 6 where I put it. But as long as it sounds good and you can make an argument for it, I'm happy to accept it. So you have 6 harmonization examples. We gave you the list last time. Do we need it again?
Wouldn't hurt, since the videos aren't up apparently.
Not yet. They will be. Harmonization examples were 9-35, 10-18, 10-20, 10-44, 10-45, and 11-17.
Bascom, I'm getting a call. I do have to take this.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Could you repeat that? I wasn't quite ready to write those down.
Yeah, let me write them in the chat, then we'll all have it.
Yeah, that'll help a lot.
Where is my chat? There's my chat. Okay, so we're going to do 9-35, which we just did today. 10-18, 10-20, 10-44, 10-45, and 11-17.
Oh, man.
Cool, got it.
So again, when you get that done, all 6 of those in one video, you can submit that to get your harmonization badge, which is worth 60 points, I believe. Remember, badges are replacing our pass-off sheet. Cool.
So, question about the video. When you say
Yeah.
you want them in all one video, one continuous take?
Oh, no, I don't care.
Okay,
If you,
cool.
you can totally compile, but what I don't want to do is I don't want to have to click on 6 links.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can edit it up as much as you want
Mhm.
legally, and
Yeah.
then we'll go from there. Other questions about harmonization? Can I clear my screen?
Wait a minute, where did you write down the harmonizations?
I did. It's in the chat.
In the chat. All right, I guess I'm not seeing the chat. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I had them written down last week and now I can't find it. That's really weird.
You're seeing the chat all right?
Yes, now I get it. I'm ready.
Okay. Can I clear my screen of the harmonization?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, she went all on one video.
Yeah. All right. How is everyone's scales and arpeggios going?
Working on them.
Yeah? Let me double check over here on Canvas to make sure that I've got everything set up right. I think this class is ready to rock because I did it last time. Just checking Badger real quick. Uh-oh. Looks like I've got to fix some things on Badger. Looks like I don't quite have Badger set up right. The skills are there, but they're not totally defined yet. Well, let me fix harmonization right now because we've gone over that. So harmonization 1 badge is now up. Okay, we are also going to have some sight reading examples. And we are going to have pieces. I went over the pieces last time, correct?
Pieces, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we need to discuss chord progressions. And we need to discuss... That's pretty much it, besides sight reading.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How are we going to do sight reading?
What we're going to do is we'll do it one day, probably tomorrow or Wednesday. And I'll put you in breakout rooms. And I'll come around and hear you all. How does that sound?
Scared.
It's the best we can do, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? I mean, really, the breakout rooms are just like being back in the lab. It's just a lot slower for me to get from one person to the next.
And we have to deal with Zoom's audio cutting out instruments sometimes because it does that. So, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it hasn't been too bad for me. I haven't noticed any real cutting out when I've done it. But yeah, it's definitely not the same as we had it in the lab, was it?
Yeah.
We went to the lab the other day, and it's just a dust ball. There's just dust everywhere.
I bet.
Yeah, dang. Do you think do you think that maybe, just maybe by fall we can go back in person?
Well, the way they're billing it right now is
Maybe.
they're giving us the option. Would you want to do a hybrid if possible, or continue to teach online? So depending on how you set up, your class, some people would just rather continue online. Some people desperately want to do the hybrid, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be a full online thing yet. So we'll see.
Also, one other thing is that my no, you'll still be able to hear me. All I got to do for you to hear me sight read is just for me to take off the headphones. So never mind.
Yeah, and so I'll put you in breakout rooms and be able to go from one at a time to the other.
Right on.
Okay, I believe I have all the first half modules set up for you on Canvas. So now you should be able to see that you need to complete one item and score at least 50 for your scales. Oops. Don't do that. Go back. Let me go back. Sorry. Are you able to see my screen okay? See all the modules. So you get 50 points for recording your scale videos for group 1, 40 points for group 2 because there's only 4 of them, and 30 points for group 3.
So when we have to submit these to you, and how does it end up going on the badges?
So the way it works right now, so let's look at group 1 scales here. I have this module set up so that what I need you to do is students must complete one of the requirements, which is to score 50 points. If you score 50 points, Badger will automatically award you that badge.
Oh, okay. So we do it like we did before. We
Yep.
record it, we put it on YouTube, send you the URL, then you check it, and then you score it.
Correct.
And then when the score comes out, then that automatically reverts back to the badger to give the badge.
Correct. Just like the stamp off sheets. Yep. Go
Okay.
ahead, Alex.
I only see like the C major scale video and the A major scale video.
Yeah, so I've only recorded videos for you to watch for those
Oh,
two scales.
okay.
But what you're going to do is you're going to come in here. Let me get on here like a student. So you're going to come on here and you're going to click Submit Assignment. And you're going to put up either a URL link or you're going to record using Canvas to record you. And once you submit that,
to record.
you can, if you'd
How
rather
do
do
you use
that.
Canvas? How do you use Canvas to record?
You hit Media and you hit Record.
Well, then you just play it,
Yeah.
and it listens while you're playing.
It might be harder than YouTube. I don't know. What you were doing on YouTube worked great. So if you want to just keep doing that, that's fine as well. So then you submit that, and then I grade them.
Yeah, the YouTube means you don't have to listen to mistakes. Because we can keep recording until we do it okay.
Exactly. Same with this. You could record and say, oh, I don't like that take. Let me do it again.
Oh, okay. So you could record but just not submit it.
Yeah.
And then just start over again and record again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that saves one step then of putting it on YouTube.
Potentially, yeah. So, does that make sense for the badges? So now everybody should be able to start recording and getting their badges in. Okay, who remembers chord progression 170 from Piano 1?
Was that the 1, let's see, 1, 4, 1, 5, 6, 4, 1?
Correct.
The 4 was in first inversion, though.
Correct.
So.
The 1, the 4, 6, 4, 1, 5, 6, 5, 1 chord progression.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So we are going to do that essentially, but in minor this time. Do you love my key signature or what?
That double sharp right there.
That's great.
Let's try that again, shall we? So, it's a little bit different, but it's very similar, isn't it? I'm going to do it one more time, and I'm going to do it in just one stave so you can see it just a little bit clearer. But we will be doing it in both hands. Okay, so the way that I find that most students do this the best is by learning the formula of where our half steps and our whole steps are. So I'm going to draw up on this thing. I'm going to change my color to red so we can see it better. So from the first chord to the second chord, my bottom note stays the same. My middle note moves up by a whole step. And my top note moves up by a half step, which is just reversed from how we did it in 170. And then we go back the same distance.
What do you mean? It's reversed from 170.
In 170, our half step was in the middle voice, and our whole step was on the top. And now we flip that. Our whole step's now in the middle, and our half step's on the top.
Wait a minute. It looks the same to me.
Oops. One second. So here were the first two chords when we did it in major. Our E to our F is our half step. Our G to our A was our whole step. So our half step was on the bottom and our whole step was on the top. Now our whole step's on the bottom and our half step's on the top. So it just flip-flopped. Does that make sense, Edison?
Well, this one's going. This one went 3 and 5.
Forget
This
these
one
because
went
these are wrong.
3 and 5. It looks like they're going the same distance.
But they're not. E to F is only a half step. And G to A is a whole step.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah, I'm not looking at that. I was just looking at. Okay,
So that's what I mean by they're reversed.
okay, but why? What are we doing here?
We're doing it in minor now instead of in major.
Oh, so this is just going from a minor chord progression.
Yep. Minor 1 to minor 4 to minor 1 to major 5, 6, 5 back to minor 1. So it's doing the same chord progression but in minor, and it just changes the formula a little bit from the 1 chord to the 4 chord.
So what we did on 170 was major,
Correct.
and what you want us to do is minor.
Correct. This is page 210 in your book.
210 is minor. This is major. Okay, major chord progression, and we're going to do minor chord progression. Okay.
So really, all you need to know is how far we're moving from the first chord to the second chord and how far we're moving from the third chord to the fourth chord.
Chord progression.
Everything else, we're just moving back to the chord we were at.
Okay, so we're still going to 6, 6, 4, and 6, 5.
Correct. We're just using minor triads now instead of major triads. Questions? So this is a cool 120 points once you get this chord progression down, and a Badger badge.
Chord progression.
We're doing it in all 12 keys, right?
Correct. 10 points per key. So on Canvas, let me hop over there real quick. On Canvas, there is a module for chord progression, page 210. And it's worth 120 points to get your badge. And there's a YouTube video.
Okay, in this video, we are going to go over the chord progression on page 210 from Alfred's group Piano for Adults, Volume 1. This is example 8-27. Shout out to Mercy for finally getting me to do this video after 5 years. Here we go, C minor. We're going to go up to C sharp minor.
So I do it chromatically in this video.
Okay, on to D minor. New key, E flat minor. E minor.
Okay. Now, just a reminder for you. We've had this conversation before, but if I go too fast for you in the video, if you go to the cogwheel here and go to playback speed, you can slow me down. I'm told this is what I would sound like if I was drunk. I've never been drunk in my life, so I don't really know. But if we go to half speed here, it gives you a little more time to play along with me.
F minor.
I just slur my speech a little bit.
So kind of accurate.
F sharp minor.
Okay. Questions on that?
You know, I'm looking on page 210.
Yeah,
It didn't show C, it showed A.
correct.
So where I'm looking at A,
Yeah.
but if this is going to be an A minor,
Mm-hmm.
so would I be hitting A and B and E?
I didn't follow that, but A minor should be ACE.
Yeah, but that's ACE, but oh, okay, because C should be sharp. So, okay, now I get it. Okay, yeah. So they didn't actually show the key signature on this sample up here. So they just said it was a key of A minor.
Well, you're right. They didn't, except for A minor, 0 sharp, 0 flats. So
Oh, okay.
they did, but then they didn't. When they did for D minor, they didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
So when they're saying A minor, then we're actually playing C.
Well, it's the same key signature, C.
C.
You're right. Because A minor is C major's relative minor.
So but you said there were some changes here. So when, oh man, but we're playing A. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not going a whole step for
We're going a whole step on top and a half step in the middle.
a whole step on top.
I'll tell you what, Edison, we're out of time today, but I'll go over this again next class period. Because I'm sensing there's still some questions. Is that all right?
Yeah, okay. And I think I can work on it now, because what you clarified is that even though we're in A minor, and A minor plays like C, so all these things that I'm looking at up here, I just have to notice that they're not in A, they're in C.
Right.
And then I can see the movements that way.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I'll see you all tomorrow.